Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about anatomy and physiology of cornea. Cornea is transparent, avascular, was glass-like structure. It forms anterior 1/6 of the outer fibrous coat of the globe. It is densely innervated and devoid of lymphatics. Now, come to the function of cornea. Main function of cornea is optical, that is refraction of light for clear vision. Light coming through cornea falls upon retina, leads to image formation. Other functions are maintenance of structural integrity and protection of eyes from infective organism, noxious substances and ultraviolet rays. For this optical function, transparency of cornea is very important. When cornea becomes opaque, this function is lost. Other features which help in this function are avascularity, controlled hydration and high refractive power. Now, histology of cornea. It consists of 5 layers from superficial to deep. These are non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, Bowman's membrane, stroma, Descemet's membrane, and endothelium. Among these layers, stroma is thickest. It forms 90% of corneal thickness. This can be easily remembered with mnemonic A, B, C, D, E. A for epithelium, B for Bowman's membrane, C for central stroma, D for Descemet's membrane, and E for endothelium. Any injury up to epithelial level, there will be no scarring in the cornea because epithelium is regenerated. Injury deeper to this layer causes scarring of cornea. The entire surface of cornea is convex and elliptical with average horizontal diameter of 11.7 mm and vertical diameter of 11 mm, whereas posterior surface is concave and spherical with average diameter of 11.5 mm. Of them, horizontal diameter is of clinical important. When horizontal corneal diameter is less than 10 mm, it is macrocornea. When this diameter exceeds 13 mm, this is macrocornea. Next in the corneal dimension is corneal thickness. Thickness of cornea in the center is about 500 to 600 micrometer and at the periphery is about 600 to 800 micrometer. It has direct influence in intraocular pressure measurement. In population having thin cornea, there will be false low reading of intraocular pressure, and thick cornea will give false high reading of intraocular pressure. Corneal thickness is also important in LASIK eye surgery, a type of refractive surgery to be done to correct refractive error of the eye. This is contraindicated in case of in person with thin cornea to prevent corneal ectasia. Central 5 mm of cornea forms the most powerful refracting surface of the eye. This is called optical zone. Refractive power of cornea is about 45 diopter, which is 3/4 of total refractive power of eye. Refractive index of cornea is 1.376. Radius of curvature of cornea is about 8 mm and that of scleral eye is about 12 mm. Radius of curvature of cornea is important in determination of corneal power. and also it is result of differences in radii of curvature in vertical and horizontal meridians, which causes astigmatism. Corneal tissue is derived from three embryological sources: surface ectoderm, mesoderm, and neurocrest cells. Surface ectoderm gives rise to corneal epithelium. Connective tissue, which is continuous with sclera, is derived from mesoderm. Neural crest cells travel along optical rim and differentiates into corneal endothelium. Now come to blood supply of cornea. Cornea is avascular structure, but periphery of cornea up to 1 mm is invaded by small loops of anterior ciliary vessels. Actually, these loops are in subconjunctival tissue which overlap the cornea in periphery. Cornea is one of the most sensitive tissues of the body, as it is densely innervated with sensory nerve fibers of ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. After going to 2 mm in the cornea, there is loss of myelin sheath and nerve divide dichotomously and form three plexuses: stromal, subepithelial, and intraepithelial. Any injury in cornea is very painful because density of pain receptors in the cornea is greater than that of skin and dental pulp. Like other tissues, cornea needs energy in the form of ATP for normal metabolic activities, which is required for maintenance of corneal transparency and dehydration. Actively metabolizing layers are epithelium and endothelium. For metabolism, there are requirements of oxygen, glucose, and other nutrients. Oxygen is mainly supplied to the cornea from atmosphere through tear film. Minor amount is supplied by aqueous and limbal vasculature. Glucose, amino acids, vitamins, and other nutrients supplied to the cornea by aqueous. Cornea is transparent, transmits 100% of light. This is achieved by lattice arrangement of stromal collagen fibrils, epithelial non-keratinization, relative detergescence state of normal cornea, corneal avascularity, and non-myelinated nerve fibers. Hydration of cornea is kept in balance by opposing forces of active pump mechanism and stromal swelling pressure. Stromal swelling pressure is exerted by glycosaminoglycans of collagen fibrils of stroma. This glycosaminoglycans of corneal stroma have water attracting property. It attracts water and causes hydration of the stroma and would be responsible for stromal swelling pressure. Its normal value is 55 mmHg. Another force that is active pump mechanism of corneal endothelium. This pump mechanism is responsible for pumping out of extra water from corneal stroma. This balancing mechanism is broken when there is increased intraocular pressure of more than 50 mmHg and when there is failure of active pump mechanism such as in Fuchs endothelial dystrophy. Another important factor is normal corneal epithelium. Normally corneal epithelium is impermeable to water. When there is corneal epithelium defect, there will be mild and transient stromal edema. Drug permeability across the cornea. Factors affecting penetration of drug across the cornea are lipid and water solubility of drug, molecular size, weight and concentration of drug, pH of solution, any form of drug, tonicity of solution, surface acting agents, and prodrug fall. Thanks to all of you